Hello everyone, welcome to the ITLS Academy. Our today's lecture on the topic hygiene management to minimize health risk. Let's start with the introduction first. Hygiene is defined as the concept of cleaning and any practice aimed at maintaining health and preventing the spread of diseases. Hygiene is a broad subject with so many various aspects and is a key aspect in prevention of diseases and promotion of good health. Hygiene has been identified to reduce many diseases and infection among others, and its proper practice can increase dignity, self-esteem, and prestige in the social life. It has been shown to reduce many diseases and assist to improve social outcome in the community. Hygiene can be practiced at personal, domestic, industrial, institutional, and community level, with various sectors playing various roles in enhancement of hygiene as it improves human health. The greatest benefit of practicing hygiene is the reduction in diseases transmission and improved health. The maximum benefit of hygiene are achieved if improvement in hygiene are concurrently made with improvement in the food industry, water supply, and sanitation, coupled with other interventions such as improved nutrition. For effective hygiene, there is a need to incorporate hygiene with sanitation, adequate and clean water supply since these go hand in hand. Hygiene can be practiced at personal, domestic, industrial, institutional, community level with various sectors playing various roles in enhancement of hygiene as it improves human health. Hygiene is applied in different areas with the aim of prevention of diseases, transmission and promoting health. The common types of hygiene includes the personal hygiene, which includes taking care of one's body and clothes. Personal hygiene encompasses oral hygiene, hand hygiene, hair hygiene, mouth hygiene, menstrual hygiene, including any form of hygiene relating to a personal body. Next is the water hygiene. Water hygiene involves the collection, transportation, storage, and use of water without contaminating it. The next is the food hygiene. Food hygiene is the practical process of ensuring that food is fit to eat. It is what the food handlers do to prevent contamination. Waste handling hygiene related to how solid, liquid, and gas waste are handled from generation and collection, storage, transportation, and disposal to prevention contamination of the environment. Next is the personal hygiene management. Personal hygiene includes taking care of one's body, clothes. It encompasses oral hygiene, hand hygiene, hair hygiene, mouth, menstruation hygiene, including any form of hygiene relating to a personal body. In developing countries, different requirements for men and women with regards to modesty, personal security, and the disproportionate burden of unpaid labor are often linked to hygiene. Next topic is the hand washing. Hand washing with soap at critical moments such as after visiting a toilet, before cooking, and after helping a child defecate can prevent infectious diseases by interrupting the transmission of infectious agents. Hand washing with soap is one of the most important hygiene behavior in disease transmission reduction and promotion of good health. In 2012, it was found that 35.3% of all the total deaths from diarrhea were due to poor hand hygiene. Hand washing should not only involve getting the hands wet or a quick rinse under a tap water, but it should rather a hygienic hand washing which involves a step-by-step rubbing process so that there is a complete removal of microorganisms from contaminated hand surface can be achieved by using soap or detergent. Hand washing with non-antibacterial soap and clean water was found to be more effective than just using water. Rubbing of hands should take approximately 20 to 30 seconds to make sure germs are dislodged. Next one is the safe sanitation system. It is also a part of good hygiene management system of a safe sanitation which separates human excreta from human contacts at all steps of the sanitation service chain, carrying excreta from the toilet to its eventual safe use or disposal, which can resist many hazards that would may arise due to unhygienic condition if proper sanitation system is not maintained. Moving towards the next topic is the industrial hygiene. In order to help ensure proper industrial hygiene and thus the health and safety of your worker, you can employ an industrial hygienist. Organizations are responsible for the overall health and safety of the workers they employ. From warehouse worker to the executive suits at their desk, keeping employees safe and healthy requires knowledge of industrial hygiene, which is a science dedicated to the anticipation, recognition, evaluation, communication, and control of environmental stressors in the workplace that may result in injury, illness, impairment, or otherwise affect the well being of workers and community members. The role of an industrial hygienist is to anticipate health and safety concerns and design solutions to prevent them. They are the guardians of workplace safety, applying science to identify and solve health and safety problems. Industrial hygienists also unite management, workers, and all segments of a company behind the common goals of health and safety. An industrial hygienist will use rigorous scientific methods to evaluate and control hazards in the workplace, including risk assessment, tools, and information. Industrial hygiene encompasses a wide range of health and safety concerns in the workplace. As a manager, you should be familiar with the basics of most of them. Here are some, not all, of the key components of industrial hygiene. Talking about the first one is the ergonomics. The goal of ergonomics is to reduce stress and eliminate injuries associated with the bad posture, overuse of muscles, and repeated tasks. Next one is the noise. Long term exposure to noise, both wanted and unwanted sounds, can lead to hearing loss of workers. Noise issue can be addressed in several ways using devices such as earmuffs or earplug to protect workers. Next is the temperature. Both high and low temperature can cause problems of workers. Next one is the indoor air quality. Indoor air quality can be impacted by many factors, including pollutions from machines or tools inside the building, dust from mechanical processes. Poor air quality can cause issues ranging from chronic cough to nausea to severe headache. Proper ventilation is important to ensure that fresh air is brought into the work area. Next one is the chemical exposure. Chemical hazard can take many forms, from liquid to fumes to dust, and can be absorbed, inhaled, or ingested into worker systems. These precautions include ventilations, personal hygiene such as hand washing, which can reduce the amount of chemical absorbed by the skin, and maintaining equipments in order to prevent leak and breakdowns. The next is the radiations. In general, there are two types of radiations. First one is the non-ionizing radiations, and the second one is the ionizing radiations. Ultraviolet radiations and laser radiations are the type of non-ionizing radiations. Ionizing radiations can cause more considerable health risk of workers. This type of radiation damages cells, and possible long-term effect includes cancer and sterility. Exposure to ionizing radiation should be limited as much as possible, and workers should be shielded from radiations by materials such as lead and concrete. The next is the biological hazards. Living organisms such as fungi, viruses, and bacteria can enter the body and cause both acute and chronic infections. Proper hygiene such as hand washing, ventilation, personal protective equipment such as gloves or respirators, and in certain cases isolation of the hazards can help minimize the risk associated with the biological hazards. The last part is the eliminating or controlling hazards. Once the hazardous conditions have been identified, there is a systematic approach to eliminate or minimize the potential hazard. Next topic is the domestic and community hygiene. While hygiene measures are taken at personal, domestic, and industrial level, some can be done at community level. The members play a role to ensure clean surrounding of their households, protecting the water sources, proper disposal of waste, proper drainage of wastewater, control of animal rearing, and hygiene of public. Clean compounds in communities should be encouraged, as a single unhygienic house can affect the surrounding neighbors and can increase the spread of diseases. Presence of shrubs, lack of drainage, and poor waste management in household can act as a breeding grounds for vectors, resulting in vector-borne diseases such as malaria, affecting a large part of community. Next topic is the challenges faced when implementing hygiene in developing nation. The first point is the poverty. Poverty is high in developing countries. Most households spends less than $1 a day, and these are the classified as extremely poor. Most families struggles to find food, and to them getting a food is enough that considering hygiene. Next point is the lack of political commitment. Most of the hygiene initiatives and implemented by non-governmental organizations, that is the NGOs, are rarely by government. Despite advocating for water sanitation and hygiene, there is not enough initiatives introduced by government through relevant ministries. Next point is the lack of community participation during planning phase. Hygiene technologies that are introduced may contradict with some cultural beliefs, and this affects adoption and implementation of the hygiene projects in most developing nations. Most hygiene technologies are not user friendly, which makes acceptability a challenge. Next point is the lack of gender inclusion. In most cultures, women have the primary responsible for water sanitation and hygiene at the household level. However, most women are left out when it comes to planning and designing of hygiene projects, making the implementation of the project a challenge, especially to the women that do not have enough information on the design. Next point is the lack of information on hygiene infrastructure and practices. There is a lack of recent, reliable information on the conditions of existing hygiene infrastructure and practices, including whether or not the infrastructure are actually functioning or benefits of some hygiene practices. The last one is the culture behavioral issues. Culture shapes the behavior and benefits beliefs of most people, as it is the way of people's life. Culture make people in developing nations to resist the new hygiene facilities and ideas. Moving towards the next topic, how hygiene can be improved to promote health. Taking the first point, the community empowerment. Households need to be taught on how to make priorities and aim to accomplish them in order to their importance in hygiene. The next one is the push of equitable access. Different people have different hygiene needs and requirements. It is for this reason that it is essential to understand the need of different disabled people to ensure equitable access to hygiene. Since there is no solution that can solve the challenge of all disabled people, it can be achieved by offering and accommodating hygiene infrastructure and technology for the physically challenged, and also at an affordable price to ensure equal access. The next one is the making political commitment. Under this topic, political commitment, especially at high level involving senior government officials, are essential towards achieving hygiene improvement. The next one is the creating strong legislation and regulation. Governments should develop national hygiene strategy and create necessary legislation and or regulation to advance the strategy. Additionally, roles and responsibilities of different national institutions to implement the law must be defined properly. The next one is the involving the youth. Hygiene promotion campaigns are most effectively effective when young population and student involved as beneficiaries and as agents of behavioral changes within their families and their communities. Thank you for being with us.